Okay, so what if we could build a single global brain for artificial intelligence? I mean, one that isn't owned by some giant corporation, but by literally everyone who contributes to it. Well, that's the massive, massive ambition behind a project called Bittensor. And today, we're going to break down exactly how it's supposed to work.
To really wrap your head around what Bittensor is trying to do, you have to start with this question. It's a big one. As AI gets more and more powerful, who gets to decide how it's used? Who really owns the intelligence that's going to shape our entire world? Because right now, the answer to that question is pretty clear. It's a very small handful of huge tech companies. They're the ones in the driver's seat. They've got the data, they've got the computing power, and they have all the top talent. So this creates this super centralized system, and Bittensor was built to be a radical alternative to that.
So what is this alternative? Well, the best way to think about Bittensor is to picture it as a single, massive, global brain. One that's not sitting in a server farm owned by one company, but is run by its contributors all across the planet.
This brain is made up of literally thousands of individual AI models, and you can think of them like neurons. Each one is operated by a different person or a different group. They're all connected, and they're constantly competing to provide the best answers. But they're also cooperating to make the entire brain smarter as a whole. And this quote right here, this really gets to the core philosophy of the whole project. In the Bittensor network, there's no central CEO deciding what's valuable. Instead, the AI models themselves actually evaluate each other. It creates this peer-to-peer marketplace where the network itself is what decides what good intelligence is, and then it rewards it.
So, okay, how does this digital brain actually work day to day? To get that, we need to meet the key players inside the network, the neurons, if you will, that make the whole thing tick. So the network basically has two main roles. First, you've got the miners. You can think of them as the thinkers. They're the ones running the AI models and actually doing the work, generating answers and insights. And on the other side, you've got the validators. These guys are the auditors. Their job is absolutely crucial. They check the work of all the miners and rate its quality. Now, these two roles create this really powerful feedback loop that drives the entire system. It's a constant cycle. Miners produce intelligence, validators check it, their ratings then get permanently locked onto the blockchain, which is just a secure, unchangeable public record. And then finally, the network's own cryptocurrency, the TAO token, is automatically paid out to the best performing miners and the most honest validators. Then the whole cycle starts all over again, constantly pushing everyone to get better. But, a real brain doesn't do everything all at once. It has specialized regions for different tasks, right? Well, Bittensor works the same way. It organizes all of this work into things called subnets. Each of these subnets is like its own little mini economy, and it's totally focused on one specific AI skill. So you could have one subnet that's entirely dedicated to creating photorealistic images, another one for answering really complex coding questions, and, say, a third one that's just for analyzing financial data. This setup allows for some incredible specialization. And inside each of these specialized markets, we see our key players again. You've got miners who are providing that specific service. You've got validators who are judging the quality within that niche. And then you have a subnet owner, who's the one who initially creates the marketplace and kind of sets the rules of the game. But wait, how does the system make sure it's rewarding real, valuable intelligence and not just, spam or junk? Well, that's where the whole economic design comes in, and it's called proof of intelligence. The entire system is powered by this token, TAO. And here's a key detail. Just like Bitcoin, there will only ever be 21 million of them. That's it. This scarcity is totally intentional. It's designed to ensure that the rewards being paid out for good work have a real chance to hold their value over the long term, which gives everyone a very strong incentive to play by the rules. So how are those rewards actually handed out? This chart gives you a pretty typical breakdown within a subnet. 41% of it goes to the miners who are doing the work. An equal 41% goes to the validators and the people who stake their tokens to support them for doing that quality control. And the last 18% goes to the subnet owner for creating and maintaining that marketplace. You see, every key player gets a piece of the pie. Okay, but what stops people from just cheating the system? Well, Bittensor uses a pretty clever consensus system called UMA. Here's how it works in a nutshell. First, validators who have more TAO tokens staked, meaning locked up as a kind of collateral, they get a bigger say. It's like giving more voting power to people who have more skin in the game.
Second, the system automatically ignores crazy outlier scores. So if one validator gives a ridiculously high score to their buddy, the network just clips it and ignores it. And finally, and this is key, validators actually get rewarded for being honest judges. The more their ratings agree with the group's opinion, the more they earn. It's a system designed to make honesty the most profitable strategy.
So when you put all of these pieces together, you've got the global brain, you've got the miners and validators, the subnets, the economic incentives. What does this all actually mean for the future of AI? Well, it really represents a fundamental shift in how we do things. We can move away from the current centralized model, where you need permission to use the best tools and all the innovation happens behind closed doors, to a decentralized model, one that's permissionless, where anyone, anywhere can contribute, and where open, transparent competition is what drives innovation forward at a blistering pace. Ultimately, what Bittensor is trying to create is a true meritocracy for intelligence. In a system like this, it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. If your AI model provides the best value to the network, you will be rewarded. That simple idea creates a powerful engine for constant, global, open-source improvement. And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating final question to chew on. Can this new model, a decentralized global brain, collectively owned and improved by its users, can it ultimately compete with and maybe even out-innovate the closed-off AI labs of the world's biggest companies? Well, the race is on.